Hi guys and girls, welcome back to Watch the Time. Thanks for tuning back in. Thanks for coming back to see me. I'm really pleased you've done so. And I'm really pleased about to finally bring you the Militado ML06. I did a poll when I first wanted to feature this video, asked you what version you wanted. You opted for the Monochrome, which is one I've got. I really like the look of this watch. When I looked at the pictures and stuff, I also saw the pricing and stuff. Although FYI, for the next month, this watch is going to be on offer through their website. They're giving an extra $30 off. So I've released a review after the sale, but you're still basically getting sale prices. So yeah, do use this code in front of me to you be able to redeem that. But Militado are doing bits at the moment. They're a brand I've been aware of for a while, but this looks like it could potentially be their best watch. But is it? Because lots of things don't always work out on paper. Hopefully by the time we get to the end of the video, you'll know if it's for you. If it is, please use the link in the description. Like I said, I'll leave a link for their website and also leave a link for their AliExpress store. Use whichever one's best for you, but do remember that $30 is only redeemable from their website. So yeah, get yourself a nice beverage, chill out. This is about that time to get the camera turned around and get on with it. Hi guys, so this is the watch. As you'll see, the sort of, if you've ever had a Militado watch, this seems to be the sort of standard packaging. Up the top, you've got an instruction manual, you've got a tool to help you size the bracelet. Not ideal because it's screw pins. Warranty card, all signed down there. And put the model and stuff on there, but it's signed. But yeah, and then like you say, it's sort of like a glasses case, if you like. You'll see here that I've taken 3 links out for it to fit my wrist. I've used quite a few levels of the micro adjustment. This isn't actually one of those screws where you need to hold one end and unscrew the other. It doesn't work like that, which was good, because those sort of rivet style bracelets where you got to hold one side with a screwdriver and unscrew the other is a nightmare, to be honest. I found it really difficult, but that's the packaging. And this is the watch. Let me just put the crown in because I took it out in preparation for the review. So this is the ML06, the Militado. It's an obvious homage. I like the fact that it's done like monochrome with the white and black, and you got the silvers of the indices and the watch and stuff. But yeah, the ML06. Inside this watch, it's running an automatic Seiko NH35 movement. What can I say about this movement? I've said many times. Rugged, reliable, does the job. If you're going to get this watch in a, get this movement in a watch, sort of £300-400 and below, you don't mind really, because it's a known entity. It'll keep running and running. And when the time comes, normally most people just replace the movement rather than servicing it. But yeah, goes and goes. 24 joules, 21,600 peaks per hour, 41 hour power reserve, and this one's running about 2 seconds faster a day. So I mean, not bad at all. The construction of the watch, aside from the bezel insert and the crystal, is all 316L stainless steel. So you'll have a look. The brushing is done really nice on this, to the transitions on the polished surfaces. You'll see it's brushed to polished to brushed on the case. The bracelet is predominantly brushed. You've got polishing at the sides where the screw pins are. But yeah, done to a good level. You've got the clasp, fully milled. If I can open this with my gloves on. There we go, let me open this up. Yeah, fully milled. You've got brushing on the outside, polishing at the sides and on the inside. Micro adjustment inside, which is okay, it's doable. And like I said, you've got the case back, all brushed, solid end link. So it's a bit of a mixture, really, of brushing and polishing, but I think it's done well in the main in terms of how they've executed polishing the sides of the crown. I probably would like that to be brushed, but there we go. The case thickness of this watch is 13.3 millimeters. Probably in no small part to the crystal is quite domed. So yeah, 13.3. Case diameter, I measure from the 8 to the 2. It was coming in at 38.6. And we go from the 9 to the 3, including that crown when it's screwed up. It was coming at a 41.4 millimeters. The lug width on this is 20. That does taper down to 16.5 millimeters and back up to 18.5 at the clasp. Yeah, a bit random. I don't know why we're getting these 0.5s coming in now, but there we go. That's the proportions of the watch. And the lug to lug, tip to tip, is a true lug to lug, given it's got female end links to the center link, and that was kind of 46 millimeters. So I think realistically, guys, that is pretty good proportions, isn't it, in terms of the watch itself? So yeah, there we are. The case back, as I showed you a moment ago, is a screw down case back. Makes it quite tricky to sort of size when if you want to take the back case back off, because you need a different type of tool, very similar to what they have on Rolex. I haven't got that. So I try using a ball many times on these sort of case backs. It's a bit of a nightmare. Screw down crown, situate the 3 o'clock position. A little bit of bounce when it comes away from the case. I probably would have liked a little bit more, but yeah, there we are. And the bezel is a ceramic 120 click unidirectional bezel. The grip on it is okay. You can really get hold of it. Like I said, there's no bounce, no backplay really in the bezel itself. The bezel's fine. The clicks are not. They're a bit tinny, bit tinnier than I would like really. But generally, yeah, the bezel's fine. I like the matte black bezel they've used. I think it works really well against the sort of black and white and silver of the dial and indices and stuff. I think that looks pretty cool. As I said, the bracelet's got 3.5 mil of taper from 20 down to 16.5. Like I said, the micro adjusting size you can use. So you'd use it as like you would any other. You see the holes in there. So you just use the tool that's supplied and you push that out and slide it across. It's doable. Like I said, I didn't have much problems doing it, but we do like the on-the-fly adjust class. But with this being such a well-priced watch, I don't think we can expect it with this. The crystal covering the dial is a sapphire crystal. Uh, reasonable amount of AR coating on there. Sometimes it's been a bit tricky in terms of filming, but when I've been wearing it in normal light conditions, there's been no issue. The water resistance you'll see down at the 6 is 200 meters, so that'll give you 20 atmospheres of water resistance, and the weight will appear in the top right. So with 3 links removed, it was coming at 136.6 grams. With those 3 links back in, you're probably looking at about 150 grams, which is probably about bang on for the sort of size and watch and everything else. But anyway, let's have a look at the dial now, guys, in a bit more detail. So you got a rehout, not as pronounced as some other watches I've had in recently, which is good to see. You got a minute track going around the outer edge of the dial. So what you have inside the minute track, you got applied battens. So you got an inverted triangle at the 12 o'clock position. You got rectangular battens at the 3, 6, and 9, and then you got circular indices everywhere else. All high polished, and all high polished hands, which I think look nice. The hands, obviously, and the indices really, and there's gonna be no points for originality, guys. Obviously, this is a pretty close homage of a BB58. Um, so yeah, there's no points for originality. But in terms of the proportions of the hands, in terms of the finishing with the polishing on the hands and indices, I think they've done a good job. You got Militado printed onto the dial just below the inverted triangle in white, sort of bold capital letters. So Militado. And you got automatic 200M equals 660 feet. Again, in white bold writing just above the batten at the 6 o'clock position. There's no date on this. There's no date on the dial. There is a date on the movement, which is disappointing, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But that's the hands. That's the indices. You're going to ask me, what's the lume like, Si? Well, let's have a look. The lume, guys, I'll be honest. The lume itself is really good. I was pretty surprised in terms of how it sort of holds up over a period of time. The lume on the hands and indices is better than that on the bezel. You'll see that from this. The bezel isn't terrible, but it's a bit inconsistent with how it's been applied on the bezel. It looks a bit faint in areas. It doesn't look like it was evenly sort of covered. But with the hands and indices, they do last and last. But yeah, the bezel itself probably could have been applied a little bit better in terms of the sort of application. But yeah, the lume itself is not bad on this watch. Like I said, much better on the hands and indices. Like I said a moment ago, where it's a Seiko NH35 movement, if you pull the crown all the way out, it does hack, obviously. You put it back in, you take it out to the first position, you scroll through, there's a date there, which is unfortunate. If you take it all the way out, a hack. I'm getting a bit fed up now with companies. Militado, not so much. They're a bit newer, so hopefully that will change over time. But a lot of companies now opting for NH35s in watches with no date. I think a lot of these companies do sell enough movements or enough watches, excuse me, to be able to justify not using date movements, if I'm honest. But yeah, that's the date situation with the watch in terms of there being a date on the movement, but not on the dial. But so that's the hands, indices, everything else. Let me just pop on the wrist quickly, give you an idea of what it looks like on my wrist. Okay, so this is what it looks like on my wrist, guys. Like I said, it's a very pretty thing, isn't it? It's well executed. For the price, I think it's done really, really well. I will leave the discount up in front of me. please be sure to use that to get $30 off. So you're getting it sort of the same sort of price as it was in the sale, just in case you missed that. But yeah, I think it's a pretty thing. Like I say, you can get a few different color variations as well. I'll bring them up next to me as well so you can see that now. Yeah, not a bad looking thing at all. Okay, so that'll now take me swiftly on to what I think is pants and pucker about the watch. Yeah, if you've ever watched before, you'll know I always start with pants. I like to go on a high with pucker. So what I think is pants about this watch is there's three things I'm going to mention. First being the clasp. I don't think this clasp goes with this watch, if I'm honest. It's not a bad clasp, but I just don't think it works on this watch, if I'm honest. At the end of the clasp, I'm going to go the ghost position on the movement. It's not a deal breaker for a lot of people. And like I said, given Militado a bit more newer into the game now, a lot of the pieces they were releasing before were quartz. So you can forgive them a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to keep mentioning ghost positions until companies start realizing. And finally, the lume application on the bezel. It's a bit inconsistent. The date on the hands and indices, which is not bad at all. The lume is good. But on the bezel, so lume on bezel is what I would say. So I'm going to go with the clasp, ghost position, and the bezel lume. What I would say is Pukka is the dial. You've got a nice piano black dial. Really, really nice. The hands and indices, like I said, no points for originality, but they've been done well, high polished, good proportions, executed well. The lume on the hands and indices is good. So I'm going to still mention the lume. For an affordable watch, it's still got good lume on the hands and indices. The bezel, like I said, nice and tactile, lines up nicely, good coining. I would like it to have been a little bit more crisp in terms of the sounds, but yeah. The bracelet's really comfortable. I was really happy with the finishing, how it's been done. I like the fact that it's not one of those ones where you got to hold a screw from one side, unscrew it from the other. You don't need to do that. You can just unscrew it from one side and it unscrews, which was good. The finishing of the watch, like I said, when you look at the brushing to those transitions on the case and the way it's done, I think the finishing's been done really, really well, especially for the price. And the general look, like I said, there's those other two color variations to choose from. Well, it's the same, but one's date and one's no date. But I do like this one because it's a little bit different. And I think, like I said, the monochrome does look really cool. And this is the one that everyone voted for. And I can completely understand why. So, the things I want to mention for Pukka is I'll go with the dial, hands and indices, lume, bezel, bracelet, finishing, and the general look of the watch. And that'll take me on to, would I recommend this watch? Like I said, this watch isn't perfect, to be honest, but like for the price and what you're getting, the way it's executed, I think they've done a very, very good job. And I would definitely recommend this, guys. I think for sort of $119, which is what you can pick it up for. Like, so I'll leave a link to the official store on AliExpress. I'll also leave it to the store, to their website. The $30 is only redeemable from the website, so do bear that in mind. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this watch. But guys and girls, please let me know what you think about this watch. And maybe any other watches you may want to see on the channel. And as always say, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and always watch the time. Take care, guys. All the very best.